Welcome, everyone. I'm Brian Martinez with NuView Trust Company. Thanks for joining us for an interview today with Kaylee McMahon, also known as the Queen of Apartments. Hey, Kaylee, how's it going?
Hey, it's going okay. Just making more processes today.
All right. How's the weather out there in Texas?
Not too bad. I just got back from touring a big 250 unit deal, and it actually rained like right before. So the temperature has been over 100, even like at nighttime. I can't get my house to cool.
Oh,
um,
wow.
but it was a
That's
short reprieve.
brutal.
Yeah, it was a reprieve for that tour. So it's better for 5 minutes and then it will get hot again.
Okay. So a 250 unit property, that's huge. It's a lot of doors.
It's cute.
Yeah. So you're going to move forward with that one?
So there's about 6 deals right now this week that fell out of contract because of increasing interest rates, and really Texas has been really slow to absorb and make a move on their pricing. But it's just, I mean, Bank of America just admitted this like literally yesterday that like softening has got to happen with everything in the market.
Mhm.
And Ohio hit it first, North Carolina hit it first, where they made price adjustments, but Texas has just been dragging their feet because we've been greedy for so long. For the last 5 years, everyone's been just racking up these. We had a property bought 2 years ago that we kind of did nothing to tell you the truth. And there was a fire, so we had vacancy for a while.
Oh, wow.
We bought it for 12 million and we sold it for 18.1 in 24 months. And we kind of didn't do anything to it. So just to
That's
give you an
amazing.
example, just to give you an example of like how greedy that you can be with this ridiculous white hot market, like that's not
Yeah.
normal. It's not okay. Like not okay, but it really is not sustainable is the point, so
Right.
softening was just expected. And so now I'm looking at a deal that I normally wouldn't look at because I already know my strategy.
Hmm.
They know, if they don't know, they're going to know when they get a piece of paper from me. They know they need to take a rate cut, or not rate cut, take a price cut about 15%. Every
Hmm.
private equity firm I've been talking to this week, they've all said that is standard, that's normal. Out of 350 bigger firms than mine, I kind of talked to them. They're like, yep, that's what's happening. And what's happening also is it's going to happen again next week. So to answer your question, we're looking to all these deals that have now fallen out of contract this week. I've been
Hmm.
out there. I've been in 5 different cities looking at them to get in an offer by Friday at 5. So they have something that's tangible. And then essentially it is already adjusted for the new rate bump for next week. So my offer won't change when that happens, and maybe other unprepared people, their offer will change. They'll fall out or fall back. And then also, I also know they're going to have to eventually, within 2 weeks or so, maybe possibly, retrades are normal right now. That has not been normal in like, I don't know, since like 2013.
Yeah.
Seriously. Normally you can't put in your contract. Normally you can't put in there contingent on financing. It's non-contingent, and now we can
Hmm.
start putting contingent on financing in certain other things because we're softening. Things are changing.
Okay. I remember when we met, a few years back, and you were kind of just getting into this space. What fired you up to get into apartments?
Um, hmm, So what fired me up was a person, and the possibilities that were endless of being able to impact communities of my own family, of my own friends, of my own staff, of the people that live in these communities, and then even go beyond that and be able to create some solution for the actual community that you are being able to impact. And honestly, the larger the property, the more impact you can have, the more leverage you have, like with the city, being able to like, check this out. I'm so excited to share this because some stuff changes for me every day, and that's why I like this industry. But we found a group of refugees that we can actually take into our property that's in Amarillo. And a friend of mine really helped with the war effort that moved everybody over from Afghanistan once we pulled out here that were refugees, and still continues to work with them, those smaller groups and celebrity groups too that work on that. And so, I didn't have an answer when it came to, I've got investor money in these deals. You know what I mean? Can I
Right.
realistically take people that maybe don't have income, into our properties? However, he was able to give me some insight into the fact that a lot of those individuals were employed by the US military. And so a lot
Oh.
of them really have a really strong skill set that is transferable wherever they go. So he's like, now there's Catholic Charities and some other organizations that are helping to bridge that gap. So people like
Hmm.
me go, well, I can show my investors they have income, but it's just being provided by somebody else. And he's like, within my friend that knows these people, these groups well, demographically, he's like, once they move in, they're highly skilled. They'll find a job within 30 days. They're not someone that's going to sit around and, not work or whatever. So we're going to take on our first like chunk that actually relocated to Oklahoma City. And now they're going to be coming to our property in Amarillo.
Well, that is awesome to be able to give back, and impact people's lives, like you said. And, who knows what the future entails? Maybe they become investors with you later on because of how you change their lives. It goes full circle. That's pretty cool. So originally, to my question, who was it that inspired you to get into the apartments?
Will Crozier is his name. So, yeah.
Was he more of like a mentor, part of a mastermind group, anything like that?
He was actually part of a large mastermind, probably one of the larger ones in Texas, based out of Houston. And he left the group because he wanted to do things a little bit differently. And the group required you to not educate investors. They wanted to take care of that themselves. Like they wanted to control the investors. And so he decided, yep, I'm skilled. I'm smart. I'm going to do my own thing, and partnered up with someone else who was in agreement with that, etc. So he actually funded, I didn't know this till later. I was on a panel of women called Iron Heels. And so what we did was all of us were investresses and shevestors that talked about, hey, I have a note buying company. Hey, I invest in flipping houses. Hey, I do apartment investing. Let's see, I've got a title company. All of us had different areas of real estate that we were invested in at the time. And at the time I was even transitioning from, anyway, so we got to get from each other, how does this work, and create a network as well. But he was funding that entire network. So not just my show, but there were shows every day that ran on Airbnbs, on flipping, on I don't know, some people do land buying. I mean, there's all kinds of strategies.
Yeah.
And eventually they didn't fund it anymore. But point is that one of the in-person meetups that they had at the time, which was monthly, he was speaking, and I noticed on the syllabus, I forgot what it was, the number is anymore, but it was like 500 million assets under management. I'm just making up a number because I don't remember, but I was like, how do you do that? like
Yeah.
that's what I want to know. So I watched him speak, and he was like embarrassed to be up on stage, and like embarrassed that he made his investors 2000% on their original investment. And like, I don't want to be up here. But he did it because it's like for the better good. And we even talked about getting him to do more live videos because he was kind of like, I'm shy, I don't want to do that. But he has a company, or started a company at the time, that was it's called Angel Capitalist. And so what they did was they took the investors that also then, I think, provided probably seed capital for this business, or maybe he did it himself, I don't know. But point is they reinvested in either the surgeries or either the mission. I'm not sure of what Angel Capitalist does. They provide surgeries free of cost for families that have children born with a cleft palate. So that their faces can be reconfigured and they can have a normal life. And so I saw him, net of that is I saw him using his celebrity for good. And then also the underlying business that you are propped up on, if you will, is multifamily real estate. It's not going anywhere. It's so stable. So essentially, if I'm able to grow this, get my name out there, we'll always have this stable cash flow. And then that building of my name can then progress forward into other ventures that actually are mission driven. And even more, since then, I've learned I can actually just do both at the same time. I don't need to wait to have a 501c3. We can actually impact women financially with everything we do every day.
Yeah, and I love that about you is you do give back and you share your education and you want your investors to be educated. I love when you come on to our workshops as well. So tell me a little more about the crowdfunding that you just started.
Yeah. So what do you want to know?
What do I want to know? I want to know how people can take advantage and learn more, and where they should go to be able to network with you and maybe bring some investors your way.
Yeah, so we have I wish I could show you my screen right now. We just finally got it done. A new landing page that pretty much walks you through why we started the fund in the beginning. So this is called Verna Fund 20, and it's actually named after my grandmother who just passed away. I had started it 7 months ago because I've done a 506C and a 506B under Regulation D offering before, and it's so much quicker, so much easier to put together. People just basically sign off. Like I have no recourse to get my money back as long as you sign off on that. That's basically like what they're doing, but crowdfunding is different, where you're able to, if you structure things right, take investors that don't qualify for those types of investments, which is 88% of Americans. And they miss out on the compound interest curve their whole life, waiting to have enough money in their retirement account. For example, at a big company, to be able to then go, okay, at 45, I now have enough to invest in the minimum. That really bothered me. I saw that, there was a 50K average minimum that I didn't have when I got started, right? So that's a problem. I also saw that, for example, when it came to your accreditation or qualified investor status that, like I said, 88% of us don't qualify as accredited. So we wouldn't have access to these great deals that, again, are not going to go anywhere. When people can't afford to get into houses, they go into multifamily, right? And then when the cycle happens, then anyway, there's a lot to it, but point is it's a very stable investment. So how do we fix that? And then, so the crowdfunding offering took us 7 months to put together, and we finally got it set to go where legally the way that we're taking in funds and where we're putting it, it makes sense and we can do it. But really the goal here was to be able to empower women through some kind of vehicle where they could still get going on investing. And I just wasn't seeing that happening unless I did a Reg A offering or an A plus,
Right.
but I think it takes 12 months of some kind of, I didn't do it, so I couldn't vouch for it, but a certain type of vetting. I think you can still only take accredited people. Maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, and then it's like over 6 figures in fees to be able to set one of those up. So I thought crowdfunding would be better. And then also the premise of a crowdfund really is to improve your community or do something of service. So typically when you go look at crowdfunding campaigns, typically they're solving a problem in the community or in society in general that we are bumping up into, but no one's fixing. So that's typically the premise behind a crowdfund. So I was like, well, we're improving the block of the community with our apartment, right? So improving the community, the infrastructure of the community, improving relationships. Also, we, obviously network with the police and the fire department and everybody else that's in the community. We want them to keep their eyes on what we're doing and then also help us. They bring in residents too, but have good rapport with them. So if we have some crime or something we're dealing with, we have that. But anyway, so point is that the crowdfund really is just about being able to lower that minimum for investors to get started today and then be able to do it in a legal way and then also still be able to access the multifamily. Like I got started doing passive investing with 5K, but the only thing I could get access to at the time was a note. And the note's fine, but
it's a slower play, takes a little longer.
Very long one. And two, it was for a single family home. It was the underlying note on a single family home. So every time the persons move out, we're 100% vacant and we get zero income every time they leave. And so with an apartment, if you have 100, 200 units or whatever, and you have 10% vacancy, it's not a big deal. You just go out there, you lease it up, figure it out in 30 days, but you still have cash flow. So that was the other problem with that, because I think that happened twice. Anyway, so I wanted to be able to provide it in multifamily.
That's amazing. Yeah, opening up that opportunity to those investors that want to be able to invest and doing it through the crowdfunding option is a great way to do that. With 506Bs, you're limited to friends, family, but you can't market. Then the 506Cs, you're limited to accredited investors, and you kind of have to find that balance. And I think you found that solution for a lot of people. So that's amazing. So I definitely applaud you for that. So what are long-term goals for yourself?
For myself, like as a human?
In the business.
Okay. Well, as a human, I want kids and I want to get married and I want to live like totally traveling abroad. Like that's what I see happening. And I have a camper van that I've already planned to purchase and essentially go asset to asset to asset and build communities with something similar to Boxable, if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
So that's part of kind of like my current long-term plan.
Wait, did you say Boxable?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've been watching videos on Boxable. I think I'm going to invest in them.
I mean, it's amazing. I'm actually in line. I have been for a long time for one of those. But same thing. I've actually figured out what they build with 6 steel I-beam rods, 4 corners, 1 top, 1 bottom, ICF walls. So that's how those are built. 325 square feet, 9-foot wall, 9-foot ceilings, plumbed, electric, etc. Just in the box. As far as the proprietary methods as to how they unfold it and do it in an hour, that's not something I'm privy to. But point is that I'm looking to create the same type of small, clean environment for single mothers in these communities that I want to build as we go along while I'm traveling in my van. So from multifamily asset to multifamily asset.
Okay.
As far as business goals, one of our biggest ones this year is to hit 150 million assets under management additionally purchased. And so the only way that we're going to do that, honestly, is by filling up our fund, because one thing that people maybe aren't used to is they're used to having time. They're used to having time to be able to put something in their contract, do your due diligence, yada, yada. But the market is doing this. And so we really don't have time to do that. With this week, 6 deals falling on a contract for example, that I at least saw, and there's more, I'm sure. Being able to take action, get it under contract in a place and time right now where we're unstable. And so The only thing that is possible to happen is that we're going to keep going down. And so we're going to keep that price going down, right? So they're losing value right now. So now's the time to go put them under contract. And then there could be the possibility that a bank can't do it. They back out, whatever. So we need the cash to come in there and sweep it up. So at the point in time, maybe in a year when loan rates settle down and they kind of chill for a minute, then it'll take about 12 months for us to stabilize. So in 24 months, there's a possibility that maybe we could refinance, probably not for another like 5 years, but well, at that point, 4 years. But point is that now is the time to take cash, be greedy when others are scared or are. So what is that Warren Buffett phrase that he uses? When those are greedy, be fearful. And then when those are fearful, be greedy. So now's the time to be greedy when it comes to going after deals. And so knowing that multifamily is a wonderful recession resilient industry, now it's time to go find a real estate fund and go put your funds in it, especially if you believe in the mission, team, and maybe have a little bit of experience with it.
Any specific hot markets that you're looking at?
Yeah, so right now, Texas. So our fund only targets Texas just because, again, that's where I have experience. It's really important for us to have eyes on the product or eyes on the construction, et cetera. The team that I've been able to build, we're adding on a new construction operations individual who's got 38 years of engineering experience and has a couple different warehouses in Dallas now. We're also partnering together on a warehouse that I'm looking to open up with alternative materials to fix our lumber price gouging problem, our steel's price gouging problem, and our glass price gouging problem. But so point is with business goals, 150 million assets under management, and in partnering with those people in our business is how we're going to get there.
All right. Well, I love that you're giving back to Texas. I'm originally from Texas. I live in Florida now, but there's a lot of communities out there that you can't impact. I'm from El Paso, Texas, so that gives a lot of love out there. I don't know if you've ever been in that city, but still part of Texas. Feels like New Mexico, but still part of Texas.
100%, because I've been in Hobbs. I've been there.
Hobbs is growing.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I could talk to you all day long, but I know you're a busy woman. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. I know our viewers are going to love this interview, and you'll be getting definitely some phone calls. So we'll post your contact information along with the video.
100%. And I just want to bring to everyone's attention really quickly that what I did realize in those problems that I mentioned earlier with having the gap of having access because of less amounts of capital, not being able to be considered an accredited investor was also, here's another gap I saw, or we saw, was that, for example, that 88% of people, they look at what we do in investing in multifamily and they feel like they're not important, or they don't understand it, or that they just, it's not for them essentially because they don't know enough. And that's most of us, right? And so knowing that that's a huge gap, what we did create is an ecosystem that essentially takes individuals who maybe have poor credit, maybe don't understand what real estate investing is, who don't have basic fundamentals when it comes to financial literacy, balancing a checkbook, being able to improve your credit score, pay off your debt. Each of these things are part of our financial literacy journey to be able to make enough cash flow, free cash flow in your life that isn't being put somewhere to then start investing with that. So that's how you're going to get going. The easy way is using your IRA. I mean, any kind of retirement accounts, that is the easiest, quickest way to get going like today. But there is a full journey. And then women I found too will not even gamble with $1,000 if they don't understand what they're doing. So we have enrolled right now 4 different companies that take care of online credit repair, financial literacy, training you. Do I want to be active in multifamily, passive? Do I want to be a fund manager? Do I want to wholesale? They'll all these different phases of your journey are all covered by the different partnerships that we've created in our ecosystem. So we have an ecosystem for you. You can check that out on our website. As I already mentioned, we have that fund. So the fund there is to basically be able to give you access to opportunities that you may never be able to get access to before that because of the adjustments that we've made. And then most people ask me, hey, Kaylee, like, how do I get started? What's the next thing to do? So we do have this thing on our website, theapartmentqueen.com, or you can get it somewhere else. It's the same link. But basically, we want to qualify you. So you have to take a quiz first. And so that quiz is that little button that says find your perfect investment on our site. And it'll follow you around on the website, but you click that and then you get qualified, and then we will start communication with you to book a call, to get to know your goals better, et cetera, and put you in front of the right deal. So whether it's one of our deals for accredited investors or non, we're able to show you what you can access. And we also have a group of women called Women Who Invest Council. That's also part of that ecosystem of having a strong network of women who also invest. A cool thing we do quarterly is we get together and we talk about our portfolio performance in person. How's your gold investments doing? How's your crypto investments doing? How's your multifamily? How's your cannabis? How's everything doing? And then monthly, we educate you on new investment categories that are alternative investments that you can also invest in with your IRA. So all of this feeds into each other. It all makes sense, working together. So we look forward to providing resources, opportunities, and education to be able to bridge that gap and make sure that everyone can have wealth building in their life.
Yeah, 100%. The alternative assets they're tangible, brick and mortar. You can see them, you can feel them. It's not like the stock market's not as volatile because, like I said, real estate's not going anywhere. People always will need somewhere to live, and you're impacting those communities. So, like I said, I appreciate what you're doing. It's amazing. I love having you on. Our viewers love hearing from you and the things that you're doing. So keep up the good work.